Hey guys, it's your girl Jazmin, and welcome to Culture Shock. Get shocked while listening to undiscovered artists coast to coast. Be sure to tune in every week, and I'll be interviewing the hottest indie artists in your city. Welcome back, guys. Today I have Brandon Lewis with me.
How you doing?
Hey, what's up, B?
What's up?
All right, so Brandon just came out with his debut single, which you'll be hearing shortly after this. I love his vibe. He's very clean, very airy. His brand is just light. It's especially what we need. Global aspirations we got going over here with Mr. Brandon Lewis and Brandon Lewis Music.
That's it.
So today we're going to talk about our creative souls, our creative mindsets,
and
where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're very talented. You're writing, producing, you play instruments,
Right.
You got it all. I think you dance a little bit, something like that. Oh no, we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out.
All right. So let's start out with what inspires you. I know a lot of people in the creative realm, we go through these ebbs and flows of inspiration, and right now you got the juice.
Right. Let's see. So right now, what's inspiring me is, I guess, pushing myself to just push the limits of creativity, especially what I see from my city. There's so many creative people here in the city of Memphis, Tennessee. And we just all, some people have just different routes that they want to take, and I'm choosing to take my separate route and kind of do my own sound, my own thing, and just kind of push that. So really just being as creative as possible. That's a huge influence to me. Also, just trying to reach the people with the stories that I have to tell, the things that I want to talk about, the energy that I want to put out into the world, the feelings that I want to receive back. As far as feedback from the music and the situations that's going on. Creatively, I think all of that kind of influences where my headspace is right now.
Yeah, definitely. Coming back to the city, I truly appreciate how much talent we have here and how versatile it is, and definitely listening to your music, you have a sound that we don't necessarily have here in the masses in the city. Like
right.
Even when we're talking indie artists, you have this very pop R&B sound that's very pure.
Right.
Not adding anything extra to your music. Is all pure. And when you look at it, we see Memphis is very heavy on the rap.
Most definitely.
And you're creating that avenue that kind of just pushes things over a little bit.
Well, I say I'm definitely inspired by the rap scene that's been here. I mean, growing up in Memphis, you can't get away from that.
Yeah, you can't deny that.
Yeah, so pretty much everywhere you go, anything that you do, and especially now, Memphis is creating a wave in the industry right now that hasn't been there for a while, and so it's kind of a prominent time right now to really push the things that you want to push creatively and kind of get yourself out there with the direction that you want to go in. And I'm speaking directly for indie music. Of course, labels doing that thing, but for indie artists, it's definitely the time to be able to try to create your own space and just do your own thing, man, and vibe out and give people what you want to receive back, And so that's why you get such a clean sound, such a groovy, just up tempo, good vibe with at least this single here. I know that's hopefully what people get from that, because that's what I wanted to give out. So hopefully that's what the people listen to.
Yeah, definitely. I tell people, if you want to be an artist, if you want to write music, if you want to do screenplay, if you want to be a blogger, you want to go into fashion modeling, right. This is the time, because for our generation, especially, social media drives everything.
Oh, yeah.
So as long as you have someone following you, listening to your music, vibing out to what you got going, you're straight. Your career you can make or break yourself via social media. You can make or break yourself at this point. And if you definitely want to create something new, if you want to create a different sound in music, if you want to create a type of graphic or for graphic lane or photography, this is the time to do it.
Right.
So when it comes down to to being open and creative. Like, there's really no cap on that.
No, there should never be any limits with creativity. I feel. I think that's something that I guess the stigma of being an artist or making music and putting things out to the public, there's supposed to be an illusion of some sort, but you really create the story you want to create, and as long as you keep it genuine and give it to the people the way it's supposed to be given, you shouldn't have any problem, succeeding in that area.
Yeah,
and so that's with anything, that's creativity in general. That's not just music.
Yeah, definitely. And success is something that people define for themselves.
Right.
So for me, success is being happy, and that can mean a number of things, but if I'm successful by other people's standards and I'm not happy, then it doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
It means absolutely nothing, because at the end of the day, I'm not being my true self.
That's it. Yeah, you want to be rich and then like spirit and in truth, and then the rest comes with you.
So how do you maintain that? How do you maintain being your true self?
Just really never forgetting where you come from, to be honest. You just always keep that in kind of that back of your head, that corner space that you always, think about, like, this is why I do this. So I always think about the why, and just make sure that you think about your end goals, and the things that you want to see. So that's what I do for myself. I just see what I want to do, where I want to be, and then I try to map that out, and that also goes back to songwriting. So I write everything down as part of my mapping out or part of my creative process. I know we were discussing that I do more things in the creative process now than ever before, and it just seems to work for me like that. So whatever I kind of go into, I kind of just use that process to be able to see what I want to, get the results I want to see out of it.
Yeah, and I definitely admire you specifically because like you're young, but you're determined. Like, you have everything mapped out. You have it planned. You come ready for whatever, and it doesn't matter what audience that you have. You're ready to give an answer. You're ready to get with it, get started. Yeah. And I admire that in you for sure. But when we look at our environment here in this city specifically, we see a lot of people, and I'm just going to use the term ebbs and flows of their, creative abilities. Yeah. I feel like there's a sense of fear in some people because going back to success, they feel like if they're not doing X, Y, Z, that, person A is doing, then they're not successful.
Right. So I get what you're saying with that. I'll touch on that for just a second, but I feel like the individuality is being lost in the clutter of everything else, to be honest. And that's on all, creative spectrums, maybe fashion-wise, things. It's just about pushing yourself to be as unique as you possibly can be with whatever you believe is you. And so that's where you get brands from. They believe that is what they are, or what they represent, what they stand for, and that's the things that they give out to the world, and that, at least for the world to see, and the things that they want you to follow and become a part of. And so I just feel like being an individual should kind of be one of the first things that you want to think about.
There's a gentleman in the fashion industry, African American man, and I saw this while I was scrolling through my social media at 3:00 in the morning because I need that inspiration to keep me going when I'm be up all night. But he was like, "I'm the first hustler in the fashion industry. Doesn't matter what type of fabric you start out with, you can create vertically for your client." Mm-hmm. So what I took from that, he went a little more in depth into it, but what I took from that is he saw the fashion industry as it is, right. And we know how that world kind of works. In theory, we know how it works. And as a broke black man, he was like, nothing's ugly, nothing's bad, right. Nothing is not in. You can create that.
That's what fashion is.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with music. That's the same thing with being a creative, being someone who's doing websites or graphics or whatever like that. And I feel like in this city, in the world in general, we have to create this view. We have to change the mindset that, you know, you can't be creative or you can't be an artist.
Right.
If you want to do something more traditional, you can still be creative, you can still be an artist, and that's the entire point. Because once we open our minds to that free flowing thought, we all kind of create this momentum and a safer space, a better space for growth and productivity in our community. And we need that in this world.
Yeah, so I think you know, self-love is where that kind of starts. And, you know, I talk about that all the time. I just loving yourself, because I love myself. So whoever's listening.
Brandon Lewis loves himself first and foremost.
I want you to love yourself as well. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this is because that's what pushes me, you know, to just do great. You know, I never settle for the things that I feel like, if I don't feel it, it's probably not a good choice. So I move a lot off instinct and feeling. And so just loving yourself creates lanes for you that you don't know until you take a self observation and kind of step back and say, okay, what are the things that really show myself that I love myself? You know, am I making the right connections? Am I treating people the way I need to be treating people? Am I doing the things that I need to be doing to accomplish what I'm trying to get done? And when you start thinking like that, like I said, you open up lanes for yourself. So creatively, business-wise, you're just able to, you know, prosper a lot more and kind of sprout in a different way.
Yeah, people pick up on that. People who are in that space where they have gotten to a point where they love themselves and they're on the right track, and they see that either you're there as well or you're trying, they're going to vibe with you. They're going to pick up on that. And beautiful things can happen when you just, you know, kind of bump into somebody on the street and that conversation sparks. You never know what's going to come from that.
That's right.
All right, welcome back, guys. So I have one final question for Mr. Lewis here. All right, Mr. Lewis, so as you have gone through your ebbs and flows and you've learned about the processes of being a creative, processes of being in the music industry and working with different artists, how do you remain focused? What is your advice for the people out there listening to us on remaining focused and dedicated to your craft?
Okay, let's see here. I want to first start off by saying discipline is the number one thing that you need to have. I say for indie artists and other indie artists that are really moving right now, they understand the same thing. And artists that are just now starting out, or maybe thinking about, you know, going into artistry, discipline is going to be what really kind of makes or breaks your decision making. So if you have a disciplined mindset to say, okay, this is what I'm trying to get out of this, you know, this particular thing, and if that's music for you, you want to make sure that you know about your copyrights, your publishing companies, your marketing strategies, what your creative process looks like, how to expand on your creative process. And so that takes time. That's not something you're gonna wake up tomorrow or after listening to this, you're gonna be like, okay, I know exactly what that is. That's gonna take some strategizing. That's gonna take writing a lot of things, writing just about everything down. And that's really free game there, is the writing everything down part. Because I don't know what it is about, you know, thinking it, seeing it, and writing it down. Some things manifest themselves to me. And so just as a creative and an artist, those things are the things that you want to wrap your mind around and continue to do on a daily basis. So first we have discipline. Okay, so write that one down. Then we have consistency. You just want to be consistent with your efforts. Everything is not going to work out exactly how you wanted it to go, but like I go back to manifestation, things are going to happen how they're supposed to go. So you have to stay, you know, encouraged during the times that you may think like, okay, this is supposed to be happening. So if you're at a point in your career where you kind of feel like you got a block, I would encourage you to keep going, because that's what I encourage the artists that I work with, any collaborations, things that I do myself. I encourage myself to just keep, you know, pushing and kind of weathering the storm, because that's what it's going to be as a creative person. You're going to have to weather a lot of storms. It's going to be waves. There's going to be barriers. There's so many creative barriers out there that you don't understand until you get to that point where it's time to cross that bridge.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm in a creative rut right now. Right. And I'm like, how do I dig myself out of that? You know.
If you're in a creative rut, you have to keep forth. You really have to. That goes back to that discipline, and that's for anybody with anything. You just have to go back to that discipline of, I really want this. You know, I really want to see this happen from whatever this thing is. And for me, it's music, so I'll speak that way. I really want to see great things happen with the music, and just the things that I'll be able to, you know, give back through what I'm doing artistically. Artists need to be thinking about all of those things. Just not getting ready, but staying ready. Getting ready is a different thing. That means that you still are in, you know, preparation for certain things, and some things you should just be ready for. So if you have an interview, or if you have a release coming, or if you just have things that you need to get done, just make sure that you stay disciplined enough to be able to knock those things out. And for the people that are doing it, keep doing it. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. High five, Mr. Lewis.
Good deal.
All right, guys. So we're going to play Runaway Love, give you a little piece of that. But please check out my brother's social media, man. Check out his website. He does a lot. So if you're out here in the city and you just need to connect with someone that you think you can really vibe with on a business level when it comes to your music, Brandon's the person for that. So check out his social media at Brandon Lewis Music, and also check out his website. So we're going to hit you with Runaway Love, and I'll see you next week. Peace.
Don't you keep running, don't you keep running, keep running, keep running with love. No, no, oh, oh.
Thank you guys for listening to Culture Shot. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and tune in next week. All love, no hate.